My uncle is acting strangely with my sister. So it's a trigger warning, but I think this is important. This is from the Best of Reddit updates. OP starts out, and this is in 2025. To be blunt, I noticed that my uncle, 49 male, has been paying a lot of attention to my 14 female sister. It's not just that he gives her more gifts or just prefers her, but whenever we show up to his family's house for a family event or just something similar, he always talks about how she looks and is always doing stuff like patting her lower back, rubbing her shoulders, or he'll grab her waist without warning. His gifts for her are also more expensive. It was fine at first. He was at my sister's birth and was one of the first to hold her, so she always been his favorite to an extent, and he's always spoiled her. But it's like I blinked and he's suddenly acting like this. I don't know exactly when he started acting differently with her, but I noticed it was a week ago and we haven't been to his house since then. I've tried talking to my grandmother about it, but she just brushed it off, and my parents are always too busy. I'm also scared of telling our other extended family because of the fact how my grandmother just brushed it off. What should I do? Because I don't want to just ignore it, but I'm also scared of telling anyone else in case I'm overreacting. So, this situation is really tough. But OOP has a good instinct about wanting to tell people. So, an edit. This isn't really an update, but for the comments who asked, I haven't talked to my sister about it yet, but I'm planning on doing it later. We're at the grandmother's house and I don't want to keep bringing it up. I'm also planning to talk to my parents as soon as possible. The parents are very busy all the time. Then somebody asked how old she is. So OOP is only 16. She says, I'm just scared that I might be making a big deal out of nothing. Those kind of things are never nothing. It's always good to bring it up. It's always good to say that it's not okay to the sister and just, bring it up in a kind way and just say this isn't normal in a compassionate way, because sometimes it might be either embarrassing or confusing, and the sister's only 14, so it's really tough. So, next update. OP says, I talked to my sister as soon as we got home from our grandmother's, and turns out she was aware of the weird behavior. That our uncle is nicer to her than our parents, and that the gifts are nice. She said that she only started feeling uncomfortable when he began to touch her, specific actions mentioned in previous post. But that because she's been accepting all the gifts for her, she thought it might be rude to start saying no now. I asked her when it started, and she said that the starting touched when she was 12 years old. So this has been happening for 2 years already. That he only did it when they were in her room since they visit often. Our uncle and aunt have set up their guest rooms, and that is the reason why she has no locks on the specific doors, which is very creepy and scary. She also said that she was scared of telling anyone that she was weirded out by his behavior because both our grandparents and aunts brushed it off when she was 12. So she mentioned this 2 years ago and nobody said anything. Saying that she always been his favorite and she was probably just misreading everything he was doing because she is a teenager now. I showed her comments. She's never heard of the word grooming, and that's exactly what's going on before, so she was pretty shocked and a little angry, saying that the uncle would never do something like that, but I managed to convince her to tell the parents about the uncle, even if it was just asking them to stop touching her. So yeah, grooming starts very innocently. It's like little gifts, it's little touching, and the person just tries to make it seem normal or comfortable or familiar to the victim. OOP writes, I've also sent texts to our parents about it, detailing that my sister is uncomfortable with how the uncle behaves with her, but our parents have yet to respond because they're at work. That she talked to our aunt about it, but she brushed it off like our grandma did, and I'm not sure if I should bring it up to her again for the video recording. So somebody commented and said catch the act happening on a video, but yeah, that would mean that OP or that the little sister would have to go through it again, and that's not worth it. More from OP. Our parents got home an hour ago and me and my sister talked with them. In short, my mom was pissed and my dad was surprised, but he also revealed something. Turns out that he knew our uncle, his brother, for context, had been acting weirdly with my sister but didn't do anything because he didn't think he'd ever try anything with his kids and that he thought he had changed. People like that don't change. Right, Jazzy? They don't change, rarely change, and it doesn't matter if it's your family member like your brother. Kids are vulnerable. They should never be one-on-one with even family members without considering the situation. And let's read on because this matters. He said that our uncle had done something with one of my cousins a few years ago before my sister was born. My grandma was the one who caught him and got him into therapy. Our dad said that our grandma made our uncle promise not to do it again in order for them not to report him. Our aunt, this specific uncle's wife, is also aware of this, but according to our dad, she said that our cousin had tempted him with how she dressed around the house, or dad said that's why that specific cousin doesn't talk with the rest of the family. Yeah, that's not okay. He's blaming the girl for dressing a certain way. This girl was a kid. There's no excuse for the uncle's behavior. None. And I don't blame the cousin for not talking to that family anymore. So, let's continue. My mom apparently didn't notice and they argued. She threatened divorce and a restraining order against his entire family if our dad doesn't only tell our uncle to back off, but also report him to the police. Our dad doesn't want to, and last I heard, he's calling our grandma. I don't know what else to do, and I'm stressed out of my mind. My sister looks okay right now, though, so that's all that matters to me at the moment. It feels like my life is falling apart because our uncle, at this point, I'm starting to feel like beating him up is the only way fixing everything. I don't blame her for feeling angry. That's throwing everything upside down life-wise, but the OOP is very brave for bringing it all up. So last paragraph for this. I also mentioned telling the police or counselors at the school, like you guys said, but she doesn't want to do. She says she's embarrassed about it, and she said that they'd just blame her because she let it go for 2 years, even though I told her she didn't do anything wrong and was just scared. She wouldn't budge. So yeah, the little sister, 14 at the time, is scared to say anything to the counselors or to the school or police because she feels embarrassed and she feels like it's her fault. It's never the kid's fault, ever. The kid is innocent. It doesn't have enough information to know that situations are not okay. Maybe parents never taught boundaries. So those feelings are very understandable for the little sister, but she also should know that there's nothing wrong with her, and even if she feels embarrassed right now, she shouldn't, because it's not her fault. These kind of people just do things that are not okay, and it's never their fault. The adult in this situation is always responsible for this, and this needs to be understood by the victim because she is a victim, And even if the gifts were nice, or, you know, even that kind of attention was nice because she didn't feel like she got it from the parents, it's still not her fault. Like, feelings are normal. Reacting to attention in a positive way can still, you know, that's a normal reaction, but it's still not the fault of the child. The child doesn't know this is wrong, and it is wrong. I mean, this guy is a p word. There's no way around it. Comments are asking if she contacted the cousin at all. OP says, I met that cousin only once, and I was really young back then. I haven't heard anything about her since, aside from that. Another comment, thank you. This calmed me down a little because I've been tense since talking to our parents. I'm sorry if I sound really mad in my posts. I don't know if anyone other than my dad, aunt, and grandma know that our uncle is like that, but I don't want to risk telling any of them if they do. So it is completely okay to be angry, to want to, you know, punch the uncle. Obviously, that wouldn't fix anything. But yeah, those feelings are really understandable because that's your little sister, and she was hurt by this uncle for, and it sounds like for 2 years, and nobody noticed until you brought it up. Or I guess the dad knew this, so this is even worse. So let's continue reading. She says, sorry I haven't updated for a bit. A lot has been going on. I've been a little out of my mind trying to remember everything, so I could put it down here. In short, my mom and dad are divorcing, and my mom brought me and my siblings, including my sister, back to her parents' house for the time being. My mom's parents are really old, but they're really fun, so my sister and other siblings like being here, even though everything's a big mess right now. Nothing too big has happened, but I want you guys to know that my mom signed my sister up for therapy. I told out her mom about the fact that my sister doesn't want to tell the police or anything. Her mom is planning on telling the police herself. That is fair. Her mom is also trying to go through a restraining order, but it's taking time, so she's trying temporary one for now until she can file a permanent one. Our mom and dad both work full-time, but now mom is taking care of the kids. And so, next update. This is over 3 weeks from the first post. I'm sorry this is taking so long. Not a lot has actually happened. Thank you again for taking the time to read my family's BS. It's not BS. This is a good thing to put out there because there's a lot of people in this similar situations. And again, these kids don't know what's normal. They just know that it's not okay, but they don't know how to deal with this situation because it's never talked about. And so writing it on Reddit or other places just puts these situations in a light where it's okay to talk to people if things seem off, and they should be talked about so that change can happen. So let's continue reading. Our mom and dad's divorce is still going through the system, so they're still legally together, but our mom's already got a good chunk of me and siblings' stuff brought into her parents' house. Our dad tried calling our mom at first, but since she doesn't respond, he's been calling OP. For the last few days, it's gone from him saying sorry to asking how I'm doing to getting mad that I said something. Again, no, you did a good thing. He says that it wasn't my business to meddle with adult business and that our grandma and our aunt had it under control. They didn't. Our mom started taking my phone away after the call started. So, some news from the cousin. Our cousin, the one our uncle also groomed, also called us through our mom's phone yesterday. She's older now, and she was really awkward when she started, but eventually talked about the stuff our uncle did to her at the time. When he started doing all this stuff, my sister hadn't been born yet. She said that she cut off her dad's family after my sister was born because she found out that our dad had let our uncle meet her, saying that the fact our dad let him even be part of their lives still disgusted her. Fair. She also said that she never reported him because she says that she would have had to really relive everything, though she didn't really go into details. Said that he did a lot more to her than how he was with my sister. This cousin is also our dad's other brother's kid. For some lighter news, my sister's birthday is in a few days. From now, she'll be 15. She says the therapist was scary at first. She says that she's nice now. I've also been learning to cook, and she's been helping out around the house and with the kids more. So good job, OOP. So there was a comment just saying that if the sister is not comfortable with the therapist, she can always find a new one. Yeah, you don't have to stay with a therapist if you feel uncomfortable or you guys just don't mesh. You don't have to have a reason to not like your therapist, and you can switch. It's not the end of the world. But she kept her. It wasn't a big deal. So, the last part, I'm going to put it on the screen, but it's really sad. Basically, this was 3 years later. No, this was a year later. So, the sister must have been 16, and she ended her life from the guilt, it seems like, and from just the situations from the uncle's doings that broke up the family. And the OOP obviously is devastated. She's very sad, and she's struggling with feeling guilty because she brought it up, and she thinks that maybe she could have helped her. She's blaming herself, but there's nothing she really could have done. Like, yes, you can in hindsight say, like, you know, I should have been there more, I should have talked to her more, I should have had her understand that it wasn't her fault, that she's not guilty for it, that it's she can move through it. Obviously, it'll always be part of her story, but it doesn't have to define her. So yeah, it's very sad, but OP did the right thing in the first place. She brought it into attention, into light, and her sister would have had to deal with it probably longer with the abuse, and the abuse could have been worse, and we don't know how things would have ended in that circumstance. But yeah, so it's really sad, but I wanted to bring it up because these things happen, and they happen way more than we know, and it can be your family members that do these things. So if you are a sibling or someone that notices that there's boundaries being crossed by anyone, especially with kids, always say something. Always say something to the closest people to you. If not, then she can always go to a school counselor, to authorities, or even Reddit. Like she came to Reddit and you guys had good advice. Again, it didn't end in a way that we'd hope, but no matter what, bringing it into the light is the right thing to do, always. And teaching your kids the boundaries as young as possible, that even like an uncle, even family members are only, you know, allowed to be at a distance sometimes. That's fine. And you know, the dad obviously was at fault. So many people were at fault. They should have had boundaries up. They should have not even been in contact with those people off the bat. But OP did the right thing. So Again, I'll put the details in below if you want to read the whole updates and everything in details. But if you're struggling with something like this, or if you're the victim, just know that any kind of boundaries, and if you feel like even a little bit uncomfortable, start there and just say no and bring it up with whoever you can. Thank you for listening. I know this wasn't a very happy one, but sometimes we have to go through the hard things too. Bye.